Welcome to the full introduction to Plasticity for beginners, and in this step-by-step course for absolute level 0 beginners you will learn how to install Plasticity and the 30-day trial, how to install the studio version if you have it, then the absolute most important settings when you start Plasticity, and also a full introduction into the UI, where things are, what is important, what not, and the most essential tools that you need as a beginner. And then as the main part, you will learn the full process step by step of modeling your first product, a USB hub. It will be so much fun, and you will see how quickly you can create amazing 3D objects. And after watching this free course, you are able to get the basic understanding of how Plasticity works. You will learn the essential techniques so you can follow other tutorials and courses, and you will be able to create your first exciting objects on your own. And if you are seeing me the first time, who am I? Why should you listen to me? So I'm Nikita, and on my channel I have created over 130 Plasticity tutorials from the beginning on when it launched, and I upload every week new tutorials for beginners, intermediate, advanced users on various topics. And I also have 15 plus paid premium courses which are sold over 1,000 times. Here you see them on my website, and I have hundreds and hundreds of positive reviews, almost 100% 5 stars. So you can be sure that your time is wisely spent in this free course. And also just one thing, in the video player below you see video chapters, so if you know how to install Plasticity, just skip to the next chapter. And also, if you don't want to miss my weekly tutorials that I'm always uploading here on YouTube, subscribe to the channel so you can stay on track and practice and get amazing results with the new program Plasticity. Let's dive in with the installation. Enjoy. Okay, so let's start with the installation, and there are 3 options. So the 30-day trial, then if you want to buy it, the indie version and the studio version. So let's start with the 30 days trial. So you just go here to plasticity.xyz, and you scroll down and you just download that for your operating system that you have, so Mac or Windows. So yeah, you just download and install it very straightforward. And then you have here this blue icon, Plasticity app, so ignore for now the other ones. And once you're started, you are inside of Plasticity, and you can check it out 30 days. And this 30 days is absolutely more than enough to get used and to understand the software. And then if you decide to buy it, or maybe you want to buy it straight away, I don't know, then you just go again to the website and you go to buy now. And then you can select here the indie license. And if you want to buy it, you can save with my code 10%. If you type in the discount just Nikita, it's the same for the studio version. So you save 10% and you pay less taxes if you have to. And then you will get an email, most probably. So I don't know right now because I bought it like 1 year ago, but there will be a license key. And if your trial ended, you can't really start Plasticity, because there will come like a box where you have to type in your license key. So you just type that in from your email, or if you want to activate it straight away, or if something doesn't work, you can go to this menu here on the top left and go to manage licenses. And here you see, so it's activated for me, but before that there was like a pop-up that you have to type in your license. And then you're good to go. Everything pretty simple. So now for the studio version, it's a little bit different. So once you buy the studio version here on the website and you go to buy now, and again, if you type in with big letters Nikita and apply it, you can save here 10%. And then you will get an email. And again, it might look maybe a little bit different here, so just check that out. But somewhere, maybe at the top or at the bottom, there will be a link to please join our private Discord for paying customers or something. So it was like in the beta, so it might look a little bit different, but there will be a link or a button to join the Discord server. I know right now at the moment it's a little bit weird that you have to install Discord and stuff, but Discord is just like a chat forum like software. So just click on that link and then you will go here to discord.com. And again, just type in your name. Maybe you have to register with email and just confirm everything. So it's 1 or 2 minutes, very like standard process. And once you have Discord, so you also have to do it just once. Then you have here this community channel. So you have this same icon and yeah, you have different channels and all that kind of stuff. But if you need the studio version, so you go here to releases unstable, and so releases unstable will be always the studio version. Again, it's at the moment. And you just scroll down and you just click here on the version 24 beta and you scroll up. So yeah, I know it's a little bit weird here. And then again, you just download the version that you need. So if you have an AMD processor, then you just download the AMD. So if you have Windows, then you just go setup. And if you have a MacBook with the M processor, then you download this ARM version, and Intel should be Darwin. So yeah, just download them, and again, you will just have to extract it. And then you have here the Plasticity beta, and you can also just start it and you are good to go. And if you need further help, just go here again to Plasticity, and here they have an email here, contact@plasticity.xyz, because if you have problems with licenses or something, I'm not the creator of Plasticity, so I can't help you with that. Just write them a support email and you're good to go. Hey everyone, so in this module we will go over the main settings, which are pretty simple but very important just to set up from the beginning on the correct way. So once you open Plasticity, ignore everything else. We will go through everything or the most important things. So go to the top left and go here to Preferences. And again, there's a lot of stuff, but I will just explain you the most important. So the absolute most important is here the navigation. So leave everything as is here at the top. But here it's very important that you find a navigation preset that you like. But we have already some presets. So if you're using Blender, if you use then Blender, then like the middle mouse click and all that kind of stuff will be exactly the same. So it will be much easier for you. If you're coming, I don't know, from Fusion 360, you also can use that. If you're using first time Blender, so if you're using first time Plasticity, or I don't know, you used in the other software some different presets that you don't have here, then just pick one and try it out if you like it, and then look like 1 or 2 days if you get used to that. If not, just try another one, but you will, I just can't tell you which one is good and which one is bad. For everyone it's different, so just try it out. So again, it will be in the beginning a little bit weird to navigate here in the viewport, but if you follow that course and you watch then some tutorials or courses or that kind of stuff, in 2 or 3 days, everything will be very smoothly. So this is for the navigation. And yeah, then you have performance. Again, leave it in the default values. If that works everything for you, don't change it. If you have more or less a good computer, so if you're not on something what is like 10 years old, then this will be enough. Otherwise, if it starts to get laggy when you have a lot of objects and a lot of details, then you can go to low or here to the normal settings, but leave it as is. Plasticity is pretty fast. So I use that on my old notebook with an i5 without absolute any problems and without a dedicated graphics card. Yeah, so then appearance, I will just leave it as is, but you can here play around with the different colors. Again, customize as you want. And then also the grid in the units. So I will again just leave as is, or just copy the values that I have here. But this will be not an engineering course and not a manufacturing course. So I personally don't care at all most of the time about the measurements, because I don't do 3D printing and all that kind of stuff. So if you do that, then obviously go here to centimeters and adjust it. But for me, as someone who will just teach you the necessary workflows and techniques and just everything about plasticity, then you can just apply that knowledge to your own like units, if you need inches, centimeters, millimeters, and all that kind of stuff. But if you're super new, just for that course, leave it as is, or copy my exact same value, so you can just follow exactly along and there will be no issues. And then afterwards, once you need it, you can start to play around with that. Then we have backup. Leave it as is. When you work on a project more than 1 hour and days, it will just automatically save a little bit and you will get some extra folders. Just leave it as is for now. You don't need it to change it. Also the same with the server. You will need it for the Blender bridge, but you don't need it here right now. I don't have a space mouse, so I can't help you with that. But if you have a space mouse, just check it out and adjust what you need. I don't know. And here general, also just leave it as is. And that's basically it. And we can start in the next module with the UI and just how plasticity is built in general. So let's dive in. Hey everyone, so welcome to the UI introduction and just the general explanation of plasticity, where is what is important, what not. And very important, guys, so as I showed you, I have created 150 tutorials, 15 courses, and I just know that you don't need to learn everything, and I will not explain you here everything, because in my opinion, the best approach to learn plasticity, and what I see from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students that I helped and teach, is that we just learn by doing, and we just learn things that we need. So I will show you everything what we will need here in this course. And then later, once you start your own projects, don't freak out. Don't try to learn everything. Start to try and to practice. And along the way, you will always get problems. You will always get questions. You will always get to some points that you don't understand, you can't find. And then you can specifically start, just ask in our community tab. So in general, you're watching this course here, right? And go to the community, and here in the write something tab, just make a screenshot, attach here the project file, and just describe your problem or what you're searching for. I and other people are very happy to help, and yeah, I'm super grateful for our amazing community. So yeah, but let's dive in. So once you are here inside of plasticity, first of all, I think the most important thing is that you here go to the right. So here at the right, we have some commands, some tools that we will always use. And just for now, you have here a corner box. So if you click that and just go here to the middle, and you see you can always snap to the y-axis, to the x-axis, and to the z-axis by snap to the middle, and just drag that out. And this will be our face, and just click on it and now extrude that on the top, and now you have a cube, and you can here adjust it even further if you want. And once you are fine with the shape, you most of the time have to press right click to confirm that operation. So right click, and now it's fine. And now, just very important, just zoom a little bit around, just go here to the edge and zoom around that edge, and just get used a little bit to your navigation presets. And if that just feels wrong and it's confusing for you, then just try right now already a different one. So really just get a little bit of the feeling that you just zoom in and just go here to one corner and go to the other corner. yeah, so literally for someone who's starting first time of plasticity, I think that's pretty helpful. Okay, cool. So we have now a cube. Now, before we go to the other tools, very important here, this cube. So when you're rotating, you see you are also rotating this cube. So if you're using Blender, you know that already. But if you just want a front view, so if you want to work here on this front face, you can just snap on this face. And then you do what you want. And if you now want to work on the right face, just click here on the right face. And again, just follow exactly along what I'm doing here. And the same from the top. So you can just click on the top. But yeah, for right now, that's fine and enough. Then here, the most important thing is, on the top left, you have here this symbol. If you click it, you are in points mode. Also, when you hover over that, you always have a little explanation. So you see selection mode, control point, then there's a 1. So you can, this is the hotkey. 1 is points mode. And we don't have any points at the moment here. So you don't see and you can't select anything. But then let's go to the edge mode. So if you press 2, so it's 1, 2 face mode, 3 is, so 2 is edge mode, 3 is face mode, 4 is object mode. So you can select with 4 this whole object. Or if you press tab, then all of them are selected. Then you can first of all, so if you have, for example, here a sphere, so just create a sphere, again, right click. And now when everything is selected, you can select this cube, for example, and now you can go further and select the edge, for example, and points if you have. Or you just press 2. If you know you directly want to select this edge here, then you can just select it. And yeah, the edge is selected. And when the edge is selected, you can directly fillet that. So most of the time you have like a little gizmo and you can just play around. So one direction you can create a fillet. Again, just as much as you want, and then press right click to confirm it. And now you can also select, so press 2 again, select this edge. And if you fillet, you see this fillet will go all over. So you don't have to select all of the edges in this case, because this edge and this edge and this edge, they are smoothly connected. That's that. And also here a chamfer, and that's fine. Those are the selection modes. So what you want to select, faces. Oh yeah, and by the way, of course, here with 3 is the face mode. So you have always faces like in polygon modeling. And for example, you want to select this face. And again, you have a gizmo and you can just drag that up or drag that down. And you see it's always, following the shape. And that's pretty cool. Again, we will not work with any distances here right now. So I know if someone is watching who's coming from a Fusion or you are doing 3D printing, then I know this is then very much concept things, what I'm showing you here right now. But again, this course is that you just have a smooth introduction into plasticity and that you just get the all basics, because once you have that nice solid fundamentals knowledge, you can then go into those different particular areas that you want. 3D printing, measurements, I don't know, like manufacturing, surface modeling, organic modeling, sci-fi, all that kind of stuff. But I don't want to cover all that things because this will be just too much for you if you're just starting out. Yeah, so if you drag that up and you press escape, then it will escape that operation. And now here at the top right, you have some options regarding how it behaves in the viewport. So the first one is perspective or orthographic. So this one is perspective. So you see, you can just zoom in a little bit more and it just stretches towards you a little bit. And once you have a little bit more for complex objects, sometimes you need that situation, sometimes the other one, but I work 100% of the time with the orthographic mode because I just like it when, everything is perfectly straight and you have a kind of a infinite focal length. So if you know something about cameras and you do rendering, so this is, you have infinite focal length. So you have no distortion. Then you have here toggle overlays. So you can just toggle that grid because sometimes it's confusing. Then also very important is here, this toggle X-ray mode. Because right now you see you have those edges in the background, those grayed out. So if you're in edge mode, you can even select them, right? So because you have just this face here, but this edge, you see it through. Sometimes you want it, sometimes not. And then you can just unclick that. And if you're then in edge mode, you can't select it as well. So this is very helpful when you have a lot of stuff ongoing. Very important shortcut should be Alt Z here. So I have it on Shift Z, but so just Alt Z, very important shortcut. And then you have the rendering mode. So it's a very basic one. So if you just click it, you see it looks now a little bit different. And if we go to the object mode and we select this object here and you press M, then you can give it here a different color, a red one. Maybe you don't want any metallic shape here and you want a little bit more roughness, press OK. And if you want this ball to be green, then you press M. So M, very easy for material. This one, you just give it here a green one. Again, if you need it, if you want to separate visually some parts, but we will not go over that in this course, because most of the time you will not use that rendered mode. But what you will use probably, so click that again with left click. So here in this normal mode, if you click with right click, you have some different modes here. So some presets. So for example, this red one here. And with this red one, you can check out highlights and how just the reflection looks like when you have when you have smooth organic shapes. It's very helpful. I use it all the time. So even here, if you press 2 and you go to this edge and shift click this edge, so you select both edges and you give it here a little fillet. Okay. You see with this mode, you see now this highlight here. So it's very good because if you right click, go to this normal mode, you don't have any highlights more or less. Then you have here some zebra stripes. So if you are a beginner and you're just doing like some basic stuff, you will not need that. You will need that later with surface modeling to check the quality of your surfaces. Don't think about it, what that means if you don't know it. And also some other modes. So this one is just to give it some very easy to understand colors. But also the most important thing is, in my opinion, again, right click and here show edges. Because right now you see the edges everywhere where you have an edge, you have this black line. But oftentimes you just want to see the aesthetics, how that looks. And you don't want to see those black lines. And if you go right click here, you can toggle, you see, show edges and not show edges. Because again, if you right click here and this red mode, you see now you perfectly can evaluate your highlights here, which this fillet is giving, right? So you see it's perfectly with this red mode, because if you have show edges, it's a little bit hard to understand. Again, you will often need that. And also just later, we will not do it right now. We can put it also on a very simple to use shortcut. So you don't have to always right click and here show edges, but right now do that. And and also go back to this normal mode here. If you don't want an object, again, press tab or press 4, select this sphere here and just press X and X will delete it. Now let's go back again to this field here on the right. So very often you want to create some curves. So you have here some curves options. and just create here a line and just snap left and somewhere here, somewhere here, somewhere here, and somewhere here. Right click. And now if you move around, you see this line is all over the place, right? But most of the time you want a nice straight line which is on a plane. So you just have more control over that and you can just do stuff with that, because right now, yeah, you can't do anything with that. So delete this curve and go to the front view and let's create again a line from here to here to here to somewhere here. And yes, I know it's a little bit wonky here, but now again, you see if you rotate around, now it's a plane. And now we could use this curve here and, for example, cut into that body. Just very important, always. So here on the right are some basic operations. So for example, this cube, right? A curve. What else we can do? For example, here a spline curve. So if you check the spline curve, now you can give a curved spline here, right? And you could close it and again right click. And now just go back, and now just back to the beginning. If you press 1, you have points now. And now also you can just drag those points around, right? So this points create this spline. And the same here with the line. If you want, yeah, for example, this one a little bit more straight and increase a little bit the angular here, then you can do that with points mode. Yeah. Now again, edge mode or edge mode. So we can select this curve, which is basically an edge. And once anything is selected, you have here at the bottom left and bottom right more operations which are connected to the selected object or curve. So that means we have this curve and we just want to cut this curve, this shape away from our object here. So here to the left, you have then a command that's called cut solid with curve. So if you press it or you press C, so very simple C for cut, here, you get an extra box and now select target bodies. It is already, this will be then this target body which we want to cut. So select it, you see it's green. And select cutters. So this is already selected. So it's a little bit weird that it's not showing, but you selected the curve. Then you selected the cut command and then you selected the body which you want to cut. So you have all of those 3 elements. So press OK or right click. And now you see you've cut into that body. And if you press here object mode, you can select this object. And G is the command for move. So again, if you just select this main body, you also have it here, move. But G, very simple, like in Blender. And then you can here separate it and you see you have the curve, which you used for cutting purposes. And you have this body and this body. Yeah, so something like that. And now Control Z just a few times back. So again, select this curve here and yeah, you have some different commands here always. And also here on the right, you have even more. For example, you want to give this curve nice fillet, so you don't have those hard corners here. Then again, you have here a fillet edge, curve or vertex. So it's always for everything the same. But you can select it and now you get this gizmo and now you can give it here either a chamfer or a fillet or bevel, however you want to call it, and press OK. And now you have a nice smoother curve. And again, guys, there is a lot ongoing, right? But I don't want to overwhelm you. And again, you don't need it. And in the next modules, we will create this USB hub here. And then we will use a lot of new commands but then I will explain you and tell you those that we will need. And those one will be basically the most important, which you will always use. So you can start with your own little practices and projects and model maybe afterwards a pen or something. And then later, so if you will use Plasticity, right, I have like hundreds of tutorials, courses, membership. You will watch more and learn more and practice more. And again, everything will come step by step. So don't freak out. Don't worry. Don't be like overwhelmed right now. Just literally only follow along what I'm doing. Don't watch. Just do exactly what I'm doing. And you will be good to go. Because right now it's just important that you are getting started, that you will get your first success. So in other words, your USB hub. So you have a feeling of accomplishment, and you will see that even if you're an absolute level 0, super hardcore beginner, you can create this little cool product here. Yeah, also just 1 or 2 more things. Here at the left, you see your menu, what you have. So for example, you have here this solid body. So a solid body is a body which is everywhere closed, you see. So it's just one solid body. For example, if we would delete with 3 this face here, so we have to delete the face with Shift X, not with X, but not so important right now. But you see, now you have a hole. So it's not a closed body anymore. And then you see you have a sheet. Okay, so just give me or create again a cube here. Right click. So now you see you have a solid. This is here our box, our cube. Then we have this sheet here. So it's still called box because it was in the beginning a box, but this is a sheet. And then you have curves. So those are only the 3 object types in CAD and Plasticity. Like in general, you have always solid objects, which are everywhere closed. Then you have sheets. So a sheet could be also, if you create a line, for example, so you can follow along, just create a line and snap it here to the y-axis. So it's straight. And you can extrude now also this line and create the sheet. So if you just press E, again, it's not so important, but just that you see it. So press E and you have a little gizmo and here extrude, and now you can extrude, right? And now you see you have another sheet here. And this makes now more sense, right? Because this just looks like a piece of paper. So it doesn't have a volume. It's just a sheet or just a face. And basically the same for here. It's just a sheet with just a lot of angles, but it's not the curve and it's not a solid object. And then you have curves and lines. Here, so we've created the line in the beginning, right? So, but it is kind of a curve. And the same for splines. So you have always those 3 different objects. Again, maybe that's new for you, but it will make sense just through practice and doing. Then at the right, you have here some grid snaps. So if you create a line, you see now you're snapping to some particular points here in the coordinate system. But you can disable that, and you see now you can't snap anywhere. And if you snap, you see you can snap here in the middle of the edge, in the center of the face here. And yeah, also you can here enable and disable snap to grid. So if you want to snap to the particular grid, this is what you want. If you're doing 3D printing or you work with measurements and you have a very small grid and you just want to snap to that, but I will not use that here. And some other things which are not important for you right now. So yeah, that was a quick introduction. And I would suggest that in the next module, you will learn how to create this object here just as a concept without engineering quality and all that kind of stuff. Just that you get very quickly in, I don't know, half an hour or so, a little bit more, maybe just your first result, and you will see that even as an absolute super beginner, you will be able to create, this really cool product here. So see you in the next module. Alright guys, so welcome to our USB hub modeling exercise. And I'm super excited because we can already start to get some really amazing results as a complete, absolute super hardcore beginner. And this is what I like doing. I just like model. I like to practice. And along the way, I love to fail and I love to make mistakes, because how else can we find solution and solve those problems and learn this way by solving that, right? So let's go here to the top left and just create a new file and press OK, and it will just delete everything. And we have this cube. Press tab, select this cube, press X and delete it. And I want to see this USB hub always on top here in a little window. So we just have a nice reference, because modeling from imagination, especially as a beginner, even later as an advanced user, is impossible if you're not doing some creative concepts or something. So for that, I'm using here an amazing program, free, PureRef. So if you don't have it, just quickly, guys, if you want to use Plasticity and I don't know, like PureRef, it's one of the most important programs, I think. Click here on Google, type in PureRef, go here to download and select your system that you have, and now go down, and here you can just click on custom amount and type in 0, and then you can download it for free. So just install it, and then when you open that, you see you have here a window with right click. You can drag that around, you can scale that, and what you can do, so while we are doing that, if you go back to this link here, so I will attach this link and the image itself, but what you can do, you can just drag that image into PureRef, double click, and you see now it always stays on top, and it's so helpful. So I will just leave it here right now. And let's start. So I have here an extra program. It's called Epic Pen. So I can just show you something, but just ignore that. And also just one thing, if I press a key, then you see it here at the bottom left. So this is Shift D, this is Q, right? And so I'm on a Mac. So if I press Control X, for example, then you have this symbol. So it's Control or Command on the Mac. And if I press Alt C, for example, then it's this weird thing here. But I will always tell you the Windows commands, because 95% are Windows users. But this, just that you know, and I always will also explain you what keys I'm using. But just in case, if you missed it or something, you see it on the bottom left. All right. So first of all, I'm always also later in advanced stuff when you're doing what I'm always telling you, we just start with the most simple basic forms or shapes. And this is here, we have this big cube, or not cube, but this, flat cube kind of. Then we have this cable. Then we have this little, USB connector. And then we have afterwards all of the details. So this USB connection itself, the holes on the side here, and all that kind of stuff. And we will start with a very basic shape here. And you know this command already. So we could go here to the corner box and just create a box. But this time, just want to show it to you, we also have here a corner rectangle. So this is what you will use more often. So let's use this one. And just go here to the middle and let's drag that out. And also here you see, if you drag out in 45 degrees, it will always stay the same size. So it will be a rectangular, right? But you see, we are going away from the middle, but I want that we create a rectangle around the center point. So as I told you, you have always here at the bottom left, bottom right, some extra options. And here we have one with C, it's center or corner. So if you press C, now you're going around the middle. So let's drag that out here, a nice rectangle. And again, here the measurements, I know it's like 7 meters, right? But it's not important at all at the moment. So just right click. And now you see we have a curve which is closed. So we have this blue, light blue face. So we can either select this dark blue curve and do things with it, or we select with face mode, because this is kind of a face, an imaginary face. We select 3 face mode and select this face, because now we can extrude this face with this gizmo. And if we snap here to the front view, you see we are only extruding on the top, but I want to extrude on the top and bottom at the same. So our box will be in the exact middle of the x-axis. So for that, you see at the bottom right, we have a lot of different options, but for now, we just need to press tab. So tab is always kind of a symmetry command, right? So we are extruding now at the top and the bottom. And let's see if we like that, maybe a little bit more. Right click, and that's fine. And you see we are getting here our objects. So we don't need this curve at the moment. So select it and press X to delete it. And now we want to give it here some rounding. So you can press here too, and now you can select those edges with shift click all around. And we can give it here a nice juicy fillet. Press OK, and that's fine. We also could give this curve fillets first. So if we would select it, we have a command here, fillet edge again. So it's B, and we could give it here some fillets. Right click, and then we could extrude this face. So it would be the same. So there's no right or wrong. There are many different ways and paths how to do different things in plasticity. But for now, it's absolutely fine. And maybe I just want to make it a little bit thinner. For that, I just press face mode and select the top face, shift click this bottom face. And now you see we just have one gizmo. And if we drag that, you see we can just make it a little bit thinner because I just think this looks a little bit better. Press OK. And that's fine. So now what we want to do is, before we go here into the details, let's create this cable here, right? But this cable is connected, with this transition thing here, which is most of the time out of rubber, right? So let's create this little piece first and then create here our cable. So just rotate and go to the back, and just somewhere here around the middle, we would have this little cylinder thing, right? So how we can do this? We go here and snap to the back. So here it's also now saying we are at the back. And now, because it's a spherical shape or a cylindrical, we have here a center circle. So we have also some other options, but let's just take here this center circle. And you see we can snap here in the middle. Just snap at it and just drag that down. So something like that. Again, right click to confirm. And that looks great. And again, face mode, we can select this blue face and extrude this a little bit. So something like that, but we want like a little taper, so it's getting a little bit thinner. So yeah, I'm not sure if so it will just look a little bit better. So when you extrude something, you always have this white circle And if you play a little bit with the circle, you see you can give it here a little bit of a taper, so you can just make it a tiny bit thinner. Press OK. And now select the circle here and press X, delete it, because I just like to keep things clean. And now let's select this edge and just give it a nice smooth little fillet. So something very basic here. So this is amazing. And now we can start to create our curve here. And we will learn some new commands. So go to the top view. So you're looking straight to the top. And now what we will do, we will first create a circle. Yeah. Then we will create a line which will go straight like that. And we will create a second line which will go straight like that. So we have this perfect circular shape. But then once we have this curve, we will not need this part here. So we will just cut it and trim it away. So we are just left with this shape. And then we can give it a little bit of a thickness. And this way we will get our cable here. So to do that, let's create a circle. And I will show you something interesting. So just create a circle just somewhere here. And yeah, make it approximately this size and snap. So when you drag out the circle, snap it here on the x-axis. So it's always better if you either snap here on the y-axis or on the x-axis, because you will see in a second why. But so don't drag randomly in the space that circle out. So just snap here on the x, for example, somewhere here, right? But now we want that this point here, so let me just show it to you. We want that the most outer point here on the right, so this point here, is exactly in the middle from this little cylinder here, right? So we have to bring this point to here, right? Because then we can just perfectly attach a curve. So how we can do that? It's very simple. We will just select this curve with edge mode. And now we want to move it. So move or G. And now we can move it. But we can't just randomly guess. So of course we could zoom in and guess where it is. Here, this green line, so the y-axis. But we can just do it also better. So if you press G for move, so we can move it. But this thing here, it's called a pivot, right? So we can reposition that pivot to this point here. So if you press now V for pivot, bam, you see now the circle is not moving anymore, but our pivot. And now, so if your snap is enabled, then you can snap exactly here at this point, right? So here at the end. And now this pivot is attached to here. And now if you drag only the red arrow on the x-axis, you see you drag it only on the x-axis. But now, very important, if you press Ctrl while you are dragging, you can snap now to this y-axis. Okay? So again, you always, when you drag and press Ctrl, you can always snap. So let's just, as a practice, here select the object mode, select this whole piece, and again press G for move. And if you take this yellow thing, you can snap around. But if you move it around and press Ctrl, you can snap here on the curve. You can snap here on the cylinder thing. You can snap on the axis, and you can snap on all the different stuff. So press escape. Perfect. So now it's also exactly at the middle. So we can just take a line, and again, you see we can snap at exactly this point. So at the end and at the intersection of the curve and our coordinate system. And again, if you hear words that I'm telling you that you don't know what they means, or something is a little bit too much, again, don't think too much. Just blindly follow along. Because in this beginner course, you will not learn how to create a car or something, right? You just will have to practice and learn, and you will get used to all those different words and terms. Yeah. So just snap on that point. And now you can also snap here at the center middle. So press right click and you see this curve is perfectly attached to our circle and to our cylinder here. And now we just need the same on the other side. So again, create a line, go here, this time at the very left, it snaps. And this one is a little bit longer. So yeah, somewhere here, maybe right click and perfect. Now we have this whole or 3 curves, but we don't need this in the middle. So also a very important command is a trim command. So if we select, so the trim command is here like the scissors. So T for trim, very simple, select the scissors and just always when curves are intersecting somewhere, you can trim it. So let's trim this piece away. So press OK and that's it. And let's just do one more exercise. So let's create a corner rectangle, just any size. And we want to create a plus. Okay, so just very simple practice. Let's create another one. So like that, right click and let's create a few more ones. And one more. And one more. So just that you get the idea. Because now we have here this plus. Right? So that means we don't need this curve, we don't need this curve, we don't need this curve, and so on and so forth. So what we will do again, we will go to our scissors and just because those lines, they are intersecting, right? They are overlapping, different word. So now we can just snap or trim, everything here away. Or you can just right click from right to left and just delete many points at the same time, or just click on them one by one and right click, and now you have a plus. And obviously it's just an example, but you will very, very often use this trim command. And now if you would like to, you can press 3 again, select this face and just extrude that, right click and select a few edges here and fill it, and you get a nice, really cool thing here. Yeah. But for me, I don't need this right now. So press tab. So we can select many different things at once and just here select everything and press X to delete it. And let's go back here. Perfect. So now we want to give this curve a thickness. So we have a cable, but you see this curve, we have 3 curves. So we have to join them. Again, they have to be connected. So select all of those 3 curves and somewhere you have a command join. Here, join curves or sheets. So it's the same for sheets. But for now, if you just press J, bam, we have one nice curve. And what we can do now is we can give it a pipe. So we can give it a thickness. And here we have this command, P, pipe. And again, if you need some help with the shortcuts below this video, you can download the PDF with all of the most important shortcuts. But pipe is something that you will use very often. So just press P. And now you have this gizmo here. And it maybe look a little bit different in the newer versions I heard. But yeah, if that looks fine. But yeah, the most important thing is here we have a section size. So you can just here increase. So by drag and by click and dragging the section size. And let's zoom in a little bit here and yeah, just guess something that we like. And I think that's good. Press OK. And we are getting somewhere. But now I see that I just don't like where this curve is. So you see this one is a little bit shorter here. So my lines were a little bit too long. So to go back, we don't have any history at the moment. We don't have parametric stuff. But this is also not so important, especially if you are a beginner. But what you can do is Control Z just a few times, and till we have the curve, and we can just here in points mode, we can select shift click those 2 points and again press G for the move command. And you see we can just adjust this a little bit and drag that a little bit down, and you see that looks a little bit better. And again, press 2, select this curve, press P for pipe, and yeah, play around here with the gizmo, or just do it manually, press OK, and I like that. And you see we still have this curve here in the middle, so select it and press X, delete it, we don't really need it. And now let's create this USB connection. And for that we want to go to the front view, and we want to zoom into this end of the cable. And this USB connector will be a little bit bigger than our cable, right? So we have to again create one circle and another circle and then connect those with lines. And then again, we will just trim those intersection circles in the middle. So very simple. By the way, this program is called Epic Pen, if you're interested. Yeah, so what we want to do now, again, we want just to create a center circle around the middle and drag that down or to the right. Again, always drag here in 90 degrees, because this way we can snap here to this point in a second. So again, that was too fast, I know. So create a circle, snap to the center and drag that out, make it a little bit bigger. Something like that. Right click. And now we want to bring it a little bit to the left. So press G, bring this a little bit to the left. Right click. And now we need the same circle on the other side. So there are, I don't know, like 5 different ways. So you could just create a new circle and snap to the center. But I will show you one way for now, so it's not too confusing. Or 2 ways. I show you 2 ways. So we could just reuse the circle. Oftentimes we're just reusing curves and faces. So we could duplicate that, and very important command is Shift D to duplicate. So we have one circle, Shift D, and we have a second one, and this we could bring here to the right. But you see, we don't know exactly how far it is away, so we would have to guess. So I mean, for you as a beginner, it would be fine, but there's a better way. So let's just Control Z. So we just have one circle. We could mirror that around this middle point. So select the circle, and we have here a mirror command. So select this mirror command, and now zoom out a little bit. This pivot is now in the middle of the coordinate system, right? But so if you would select this left one here, this circle would be on the other side of the whole coordinate system, but we just wanted to pivot around the middle of the circle. So for that, so just press Escape, and again here, mirror or select the curve and Alt X. And now here on the right, you have a freestyle command. So if you press F, now you can decide where you want that pivot to be, and we want to pivot it here around the center. So snap to the center, and now you see you will create a line, so this grayed out line, and around this line is kind of the mirror happening. But you just want to drag that down or up, so we just want a nice 90 degrees. So click on that, right click, and now we are on the other side. And now again, we want to create 2 lines. So create a line and snap here at the top and here at the top. And very important, don't snap just at the curve, because then it will not be tangent. So again, it's a word which is you don't need as a beginner. but this line should end where the circle starts the curve. So it will be here at the top. And to make sure, if you snap it, it will say intersection, mid, and 10, 10. So it means it's on the left circle tangent and on the circle which you are snapping to. So yeah, it's tangent. It's like very beginner proof, right? So right click and zoom out and create a new line. Do the same, snap here at the bottom, and let me show you, press escape. So sometimes you don't have, so if you press a line, so right now we can snap exactly where we want, but sometimes you don't have those points. And then still you can just snap randomly somewhere to the curve. And now if you go down, so look where this curve starts. So it's not here at the bottom, but if you go here to this point, it's telling you 10, 10. So it kind of knows and predicts that you most probably want to create a line which is tangent. So you can just snap it, right click, and you see everything will be tangent. And again, select trim or the scissors and, and trim this piece away and this piece, press OK. And we have 4 curves. Again, select them all and press join to join them. And we have a nice curve. And now just press 3 face mode. And because again, you see a light blue face, so you can just select that and extrude this a little bit. Okay, I see it's a little bit too bulky, I think. But yeah, just extrude this, press OK, and delete this curve. You don't need this at the moment. And I just want to make everything a little bit thinner. So I can select all faces, and with shift click, I will select those 4 faces. And just with this gizmo thing, I will just make it a little bit thinner. Right? So you can adjust that always. Perfect. So now we want to create this connecting part here. And this connecting part must be somewhere here. And again, we could create a new circle and again, adjust the size and extrude it. Or we use just this geometry that we have already, and we create, because you see now it's just one face, but what we need is an extra black edge here, which will separate the surface. So we can then just select this face here and then just extrude this a little bit, right? So very simple. We select this face in face mode. And now very important command is create a new edge. It's called isoparam. It's a little bit confusing. But if you press F, you have here the Google of plasticity commands. So very often, so here you find all of the commands. You can assign shortcuts and all that kind of stuff. But for now, we just want isoparam. So I know, guys, it's a little bit of a hard to remember name, but it's an important one. And I have it here on Control R, but not so important. So just click on isoparam. And now you see you have a new edge which you can move around. But we want to change the direction. So here at the bottom right again, tab will change the UV direction. So press tab. And now you see we can create here an extra edge. So left click. And now if you press face mode, now you see this face is separated into 2 pieces. So now very simple, we can select this piece and extrude that and press OK. And this is fine. I know it's nothing super exact here, but for beginners, this is fine. Yeah. So let's create this USB-C metallic thing, which again, I will show you some new interesting techniques that you will use over and over. So we need it here at the front, right? So if we need it here at the front, we just want to go to the front view. So just click on that. And okay, I just enabled the edges again, so but it should be fine for you. So what we could do, so don't follow now, but we could again create the circle and create one circle and create another one and all that kind of stuff. But this USB thing is kind of the same shape as our outer shape, right? So we can, so go out again in the 3D view, select, so you can select this face here, and we want basically the same edge here, so the same structure. So we can select this face, and if we press O, so somewhere, you will find the command here, O, but O offset, very simple to remember. And if you press O, you see, you can now drag that a little bit, and you will create an edge, which will be the same shape. But let me again adjust it, because we see that this connection here is a little bit too long, right? So press escape, and so we don't have to go back and rebuild everything. This is called plasticity. We don't have a history, but we can adjust many things pretty simple. Again, select face mode and select this face and shift click this face. And if you go to face mode, you can select this face now, and you can press G, so you can just move that face. So either up, right? But we want to move it more towards the middle. And in this example, because the right side has to be the same distance, so I will just move it 0.05, press OK. And the same here, I will select the right one and press G and go into this direction. And this time it's minus 0.05 and press OK. And I've just adjusted and made it a little bit thinner. And now again, select this face here and press O to offset. And now it just looks a little bit better. It's still not perfect, but it's fine. And offset that a little bit, right click. And now, because this object, it has a little bit of a thickness, so you could now select this face and with this pivot, just drag that out. But then you see it doesn't, it's just a solid object, but we want like a hole in the middle. So what we can do is, again, we just select this face here and press O again, and just offset this a little bit more. So this time we have only this piece here, right? So this is pretty cool. And now we want to extrude this, but don't use this pivot here, because if you would extrude it this way and you press right click and you go in object mode, you see this is still one object. But obviously if you would render that, you want this as a separate body. So Control Z and select this face again. But this time if you press E for extrude, you can extrude this again, but this time you see it's a little bit different. So just the difference, if you just select this face and extrude this, then it's just a normal extrude operation from that body. So you don't have a lot of control. But if you select this face and you press E, you have the whole new extrude operation ongoing. So here you see it. And now you can extrude this, and now it's blue. And it's very important to understand you have either blue. Blue is that it will be like unioned with the body where you extruded from. So this from. But you also have, if you press W, then you see it's red. And then it would be extracting. So just for practice purposes, let's do it. If we select this face and you press E and you go inside, you see you would extrude this, because now it's automatically red, because it doesn't make sense if it would add a new body inside of a new body, right? So if you press OK, you see now we have a hole here. And again, if you extrude this and press E and go outside, then it would add obviously a body, right? But we want a whole new body. We don't want we don't want to add, we don't want to subtract, or we don't want to union or difference something. We want a new body. And for that, we have a B command for new body. And now you see it's gray. And if we drag that out a little bit, press OK. You see, and if we go here to object mode, you see now we have two separate bodies. So this is very helpful. Yeah, so very quickly, let's go to edge mode and just select those two edges and give them a nice little fillet. Always give fillets at the edges. So select this edge and this edge. So it will just a little bit, so you're not intersecting here. So it will just look a little bit more realistic. And also here at the bottom, here a little bit bigger, so something like that. And go here, right click and show edges, just to check if everything looks good. And go to the right click to the red view, just to see if everything looks as it should. And let's just put here this show edges on our first custom shortcut, because you will always use this. So I have it here on Shift E. So you see if I press Shift E, I can enable and disable that. And for that, press F and go to toggle here, viewport toggle edges. So this is the command. I know there's a lot of different ones, but you don't need them. So just right click and then assign shortcut here on the viewport toggle edges and just press Shift E. And then if you press Shift E, this is the way you attach a custom shortcut. And perfect. And okay, so it took already like 40 minutes. All right, so let's continue now with the main body and its details. And first of all, let's create this dark piece here. And you see it has a little bit of an extrusion. And then we have like those little USB ports. So let's go here to the top view. So just click here on the cube. And again, we just want to create here this rectangular shape. So click here again on the corner rectangle and just snap here to the middle and just drag that out. And again, press C. So you're going in all direction. And it doesn't matter the shape and the size that you create here right now. So just create something like that, because again, just to show it to you, we can go to the points mode and now you can just select those points, and with G, again, G move command, you can drag that and right click to confirm where you want it to have. And also if you want to bring the left side and the right side to the left and to the right in the same distance. So you could select just 2 and again press G and here remember the value or something, or what you can just do, press 2 and you just select this whole rectangle. And if you press S, so again S, very simple for scale. And then again you get this gizmo, and then you can just drag that here on the X-axis and it will go to the left and to the right in the same distance. So let me just adjust those bottom points, and something like that I think is fine. And again, edge mode, so you can select the curve, because curves are kind of an edge, and press B, or search here for the fillet edge, curve, or vertex. So you can just press B and give it a fillet, or if you prefer, you can also just select the points and press B as well. This will give you the same situation. So let's give it here a nice little fillet. Right click to confirm. And again, because this is a different face mode, select this blue face and you see you have then the extrude operation, and just extrude this a little bit. That's fine for me. And you can select with the edge mode the curve below again. So here make sure that the curve is selected, press X to delete it, you don't really need it. And let's boolean everything together. So we have two solid objects, right? So you can just select object mode and select this object, shift click the big box below it. And now again, a new command, but those are commands which are so important. So press Q. So Q is always here the Boolean command. And now you see one is blue and one is red, but we want to combine both. So both have to be blue. So what we did also here. So press Q again and bam, now it's blue, you see? And if you would press W, then you would create a difference. So just remember the colors. Blue is subtracting, blue is adding, red is subtracting. So we want to union them. So press Q and everything is blue. Okay. Perfect. Now let's go on edge mode, press 2, and let's give here a nice little fillet. And here you see where the big box is. So here at the top and I guess on the bottom as well, we have a chamfer because you see the reflection is like very homogeneous. I don't know how to call that. So it's just a chamfer, so not the fillet. So select this edge, shift click the edge below and yeah, create something like that. And you see we have a nice sharp edge here. And also just to give it a little bit of a more realism, select now this edge, this edge, this edge and this edge. So with 2 edge mode and shift click. And now just give those little edges a very tiny fillet. Okay. And if you press Shift E, so I hope you put that on the shortcut, then you see we have a very beautiful little detail here. Again, if you don't have put it on a Shift E, it's this show edge command. But yeah, so let's continue with those little USB ports. And again, we have one rectangular shape, which is the hole itself. Then we have this little metal piece. So it's basically, again, the same what we created here, right? So it has a little bit of a thickness. And then we have this blue USB 3 plastic thing. So let's go again to the top view. And again, just create a rectangle. And just, so again, I'm very guessing here, it's just a beginner tutorial. So something like that should be fine. Right click and press G for move and just bring this into position and maybe let's scale that. So press S for scale. And now you can either use this yellow command rectangle for make it bigger, or you press S and S again. So here on the bottom right, you see if you press S again, then you can scale that uniformly. So this is what I want. So let's bring this somewhere here. And now again, Shift D, because we just want one more on the left side. So Shift D to duplicate it. And let's just bring it down a little bit. So that's fine. And now we want to mirror them both. So we could also just, again, Shift D both of them and bring them over. But then we have to guess. So I would prefer that we just select both of them. And again, here the mirror command. So we just have to mirror it on to the right side. So Alt X or mirror. And this time it is exactly in the middle, as you see. So we can just select this left dot here, because then we will bring this left side to the right side, right? So something like that. Okay. And now press 2 edge mode, select them all. And again, we have to give them a little fillet, because no object is like perfectly 90-degree cutted. So press B for fillet. And let's give it here a nice little fillet. And I see I have some extra rectangles, maybe because I duplicated them twice, so I don't need them. So I will select them and press X just to delete them, just to keep things clean. Awesome. So now let's create this hole. And you see it's a little bit distracting to see all of those lines. So I will just press Alt Z, or here toggle X-ray mode, so it just looks like that. Perfect. So again, press 3 and select those faces, because now we just want to extrude them into the body and create a hole. So you see with the X-ray mode, so if the X-ray mode is not activated, just click here on this icon or press Alt-Z to toggle that. So yeah, Alt-Z to bring, Control-Z to go back. And now you see how deep they are going. But nothing is blue, nothing is red. So if you would just extrude that and confirm, then you see you just have new bodies inside of the body. Doesn't make really sense. So select all of those faces, extrude them downwards, and now you remember Q is the command for Boolean. So when you extrude, you have it here again. So Q union, press Q. So now you are in the Boolean operation, but now you have to select the body which you want to add to this operation. So just select here this main body, and now you see it's blue, but again, blue is add, but we want to subtract or difference, so press W. So now it's red, and you see we have holes. So that's exactly what we want. So press OK, and we have some nice holes. And now, furthermore, we want to create those little metal pieces here, right? So yeah, so it's exactly the same process that we did here. So I will just be a little bit quicker, because just go back to that part. So we have those curves, and again, we can now delete them. So just select them in edge mode, press 2X. And now the same process, press 3 and select these faces here on the bottom as we did also here. So yeah, I would just do a little bit faster. If it's too fast for you, just go back to this part here. But here 3 faces are selected, and again press O to offset. And now it's a little bit tricky sometimes. We just want to give it, so let's zoom in maybe a tiny bit here, and we just want to offset them a tiny little bit. Right click and one more time, because now we have the distance. So here it will be just nothing, but now we need the thickness of this metal body. So press O again and extrude this again a little bit. So something like that. And just make sure that everything looks fine, and it is. Press OK. And now just select here this little stripe here in the middle. So this will be our metal piece kind of. So select them with shift click. And again, if you would just extrude that, then it would be the same body. But we want more options. So select those 3 loops and press E for extrude. And now, again, we can extrude this, right? And you see it's blue, but blues again, it would add to our main body, but we want new bodies. So we could give it then like a metal material or something if you would like to render that. So let's extrude this a little bit. And here, bottom right, press B for new body, press OK. And if you go to object mode, you see all of those pieces are now separate. And now again, let's just give everywhere some fillets. So I will just first in edge mode select all of those things here. And by the way, if you drag and if it's going too fast, press shift, because then you have a little bit more control. So you see that just looks a little bit better. And also let's give here some very tiny fillets on the metal piece as well, to just to make it a little bit smooth at the corners. So something like that, and press shift E always and just go back and forth and just look if everything looks good. Perfect. So now let's also create those blue pieces in the inside. So again, very simple, same process. Select the corner rectangle and basically go here from the center point, or you can also go from the center, so it doesn't matter. Let's just snap to the center, press C, so you're going in all of those directions, and just create roughly the shape that you like. So something like that. Right click, press G, bring this here a little bit to the top. Again, I know if you would do this on your own, then of course get some more references from close-up shots of this USB thing itself and just spend more time with that and try to recreate as exactly as possible, right? But yeah, so we have those pieces, and Shift D, duplicate, and I will just guess and bring this down here, right click, adjust it with G a little bit, Shift click both of them, and again Alt X or mirror command here, and select this left side going to the right side, and that's fine. And now you see those curves, so select them all, they are all at the top, but I want them on the bottom, so we can extrude it upwards, those blue pieces, right? So what you can do is, if all of those curves are selected, you can press G for move command, and then you have this gizmo here, and now it's important that you are in X-ray mode. So if not, again, just click on this button here. And now you can bring this, so take the blue arrow on the Z-axis, and if you drag and press again Control, as you remember, we can snap now. And now you see we can snap to those edges in the inside. So do that. And now you see they are exactly laying at the bottom. So this is really cool. And again, press 3 face mode with Shift click, select those blue faces and extrude them to the top. So something like that, press OK. Again, press 2, and in X-ray mode, select those curves here. So you see here, we are selecting those curves, and press X to delete them just to keep things clean. And here I will just very simplify, because yeah, we are already a lot in this beginner tutorial. And by the way, guys, if you like that and if you find it helpful, leave a like, that would help me, and subscribe to that channel so you don't miss my next tutorials, because I'm uploading every week new tutorials for beginners, advanced users, everything. So you will see them and you will stay on track and you can learn plasticity, right? So subscribe to that channel. And again, 2 for edge mode, and select all of those edges here on the side. So again, it's just very guessing work here. So yeah, we have something like that. And I just want to adjust that angle a little bit, because this is what those little USB things have. So just something like that. And now press 2 again and just select all of those edges around. And once that is selected, again, just give those a little fillet just to smooth things a little bit up. And that's fine. I know they have some more details, but for now it's okay. And now 2 more little steps just to deepen all of those techniques that we did today. Here, this little hole at the top. So go to the top view and again, create just a circle and try to snap somewhere in the middle. So yeah, here's the center point. So snap to that and drag that down. And you see it's grayed out. So the circle is somewhere in the middle. And I just like it when it's on. So yeah, just select it, press G and bring this up. So you see it's above the object, right click. And why I did this, because if I go now again to the top view, you see it's blue. So it's just a little bit easier to understand. So select it, press G, just bring this up a little bit. And I want to make it a little bit bigger. So press S for scale and S again here for uniform. So scale that a little bit. And now just bring this a little bit here to the left. And again, here mirror or press Alt X, bring it to the other side. So we have those symmetrical circles. And here, create the line again, just snap to one circle to the other and snap here where it's 10, 10. So it's tangent to tangent. Right click, one more line, snap somewhere here and again search for, and again just snap here at the end point and here at the tangent point, and here the scissors or T for trim command, and just select those, right click. And now again, very simple, press 3 for face mode, select this face, drag that down. So you see it's going down. But again, we want a Boolean operation. So just press Q and bam, select this main body. and it's blue, but again, you remember it has to be red. So press W. So this is what we want. And if you want, you can even drag that down, right click, delete all of those curves here, press X and select this edge and give it here a nice little fillet, right click. And if you are still watching, honestly, big respect to you, because most of the people can't watch a 1 hour video nowadays, right? And I just wanted to let you know, if you're interested to dive even deeper into plasticity, then I have amazing paid premium courses for you. And if you're an absolute beginner, then here this beginner super bundle is the absolute perfect next step that you can take. And this bundle consists out of 3 courses. So below this video, you can get all of the information. But if you're interested, I can just show you what this is about. So first of all, the sci-fi design pack is included. So if you click here on more info, then yeah, you will get like all of the course content. And if you like sci-fi and concept, then you will learn how to create this sci-fi prop here completely from scratch, as well as this really cool grenade, also again completely from scratch in a step-by-step manner like this tutorial with all of the details. And additionally, this sci-fi drone, so those beautiful renders here are the exact model from the course, so I've rendered them afterwards, but you will learn how to model this camera module and this really cool, sci-fi drone concept. And if you are interested more in real-world product design, this beginner super bundle includes also here this smartphone design, so this iPhone 14, and again, you will learn how to model that completely from scratch with the original reference images. So you will get a exact one-to-one copy. So you will learn how to create basically any basic design and shape completely from scratch on your own with all of the details, as well as those really cool headphones designs here. So you see, you get already a little bit more of complex shapes with a lot of details. And I think that's a really amazing design. So for exactly that reason, I've created this super bundle, because it teaches you with concept and product design all of the absolute fundamental and basic functions of plasticity. And yes, so at the moment it's even 30% off, so you can get this bundle deal. And yeah, I have over 100 free tutorials on my YouTube channel. But if you buy these courses, you know, it's just absolute step-by-step in a streamlined way, and it's much more in depth because the tutorials are mostly 10-15 minutes. It's just covering some very general principles. But I just see that people just watch tutorials. You know, they are very good at recreating tutorials and doing what I'm showing in the tutorials, but then most of them never create their own projects, because if you want to create something on your own, it's mostly a little bit more complex. It's not just what you can create in 10 minutes, right? So exactly for that, I have the super bundle, and it covers all of the basics, fundamentals, skills that you need to really master plasticity on a foundational basic level, so you can go after those courses around your home, pick some objects and practice on them and recreate them, so you really can dive deep into plasticity and just enjoy modeling, having fun and all that kind of stuff. So below this video, check that out. And just go here to the beginner super bundle. All of the information is included, and you can just click here on the individual courses to get all of the information. So if you don't want to buy courses, no problem, then just leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss my future tutorials. And I hope I can see you in there. Have a nice day. Bye.